Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Tuesday, February 18th, and I'm here for a quick stitching update. I feel like I'm getting a cold, so my throat is a little raspy. I'll try to talk softly because I don't want to aggravate things, but I'm here and I have a lot to share. So this past week was pretty good for stitching. I had my 4 chosen projects for Enchanted Stitching challenges I was working on, and I got the 3 done. I think the 3rd one I didn't get finished until partway through Friday, even though I was supposed to switch over to only work on my last project Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the Full Coverage Fanatics group. But I still got a whole bunch done on that last project, even though I didn't get a full 3 days. I didn't even work on it on Sunday. And I still got a whole bunch done on it. So that's exciting. So I guess we'll just, oh yeah, first off though, I got quite a bit of stitchy kindness, I guess, because we had a stitching get together on Thursday when Colette, the highway stitcher, came into town. She was here this weekend for, I feel like there's something on my face. She was here this weekend for a lace conference that she does every February, I believe, here in the LA area. So she was here and she met up, and Shelly, Key X Stitch, and Candace, Slub Over Stitches, and Nancy, who is a Flosstube watcher. I think that was everybody. Yeah, we had a fun time stitching together and visiting and eating. We went out to lunch, and so that was fun. But I got a few little goodies from those ladies. Colette brought a buttons and beads kit, Winter Glow. It kind of reminds both of us of the star over Bethlehem for Christmas. So it comes with the star and the beads and everything. So that's pretty. That'll be fun. And I only have one of these so far. It's a butterfly one that I was hoping to start this year. So that's fun. I do love beads and things, so it'll be fun to get more of those and have those up periodically. She also found like a grab bag of various linens at one of the LNSs where she's at, because that's the sort of thing you can get at local needle workshops that we don't have around here. So that was fun. So thank you, Colette. It was really fun to meet with you again and stitch with you, and I helped her get Pattern Keeper set up on her Kindle Fire because there's a complicated step-by-step process to get Kindle Fire to accept Google Play in order to get Pattern Keeper. So if you, I linked it once before, but I'll link it again. If you have a Kindle Fire and you want Pattern Keeper on that, you have to go through several steps to get it to work. So I'll link the video I used, and just follow the directions. There's like 4 things you need to do before you can get the Google Play Store to work, and then you can get Pattern Keeper through that. So, and while we're on Pattern Keeper real quick, just to confirm, because it seems like it's still confusing to some people, that Pattern Keeper is really only a helpful tool for people who love full coverage pieces and who have PDF files from compatible companies. So it's not for all of cross stitch. And so I think some people were confused about that. It's a really amazing tool, but only for certain types of patterns. So you have to have a PDF copy of a pattern that is from a designer that's already compatible with the app. So it doesn't take, you can't upload pictures, you can't upload just any PDF. It's a very small niche right now, which is perfect for those of us who like that niche. But for those of you who don't stitch those patterns, you either keep waiting until this app supports that type of thing, or a different app comes along that will support that. So maybe in the future, it'll be more widely, like the developer is still working on it. So it's possible that sometime in the future it will be able to expand to more and more types of patterns, which would be really cool. But so far, not yet. Shelly also brought some goodies. And one of them was this pretty floss from Mad X Stitcher, and the color I got was this pretty pink and purple variegated. Very nice. I love these colors. So that was fun. And She is lending me her copy of Faith by Little House Needleworks. I'm going to stitch this for my aunt Faith, and I'll probably add a Bible verse on the bottom as well, and hopefully maybe give this to her for her birthday this year, which is in June. So maybe when I get my teacher gifts done, I'll work on this in the car to get that done, because I want to share some love and my aunt stitches, so I think she would appreciate a hand-stitched gift of thoughtfulness. So there were a couple other things that oh, another pass the stash. I think Shelly started this, but I don't think she ever got that far, and I saw it and I'm like, oh, it's super fun. She's like, why don't you just take it? So this is a Design Works kit, deconstructed. It looks like she included all the floss and things, but it's the, does it have a name? Stitching ABC. So I thought that was really cute. I love the kitty in the middle. H is for handcrafted, and there's even calico, a kitty under the calico one. But it includes a lot of the sewing crafts. So I thought that was really cute. So someday that'll be fun to work on. And she also picked up a few things here and there. I think this was a pass the stash that she had that I'll probably make for a teacher gift at some point. It says, a tree is known by its fruit. This is by Birds of a Feather, called Apple Sampler. You can still get this on 123 Stitch, but I liked that, so I think she did this. So that was a pass the stash. I may do this for somebody next year, so that'll be fun. And then she found these two at like clearance things. This one was a Mill Hill Heirloom Harvest, and it has this sampler on the front and a couple little small things. And then I looked at the back and there's a whole bunch more things you could do. I really like this one. But the thing is this is almost entirely beads because it's by Mill Hill. So there's like, pretty cool. It even has a few specialty stitches. So I thought that was fun. Like this could be a fun way to use up like extra beads for my mirrors, you know, change the color scheme perhaps depending on what the beads are that I have, but I could do one or a few of these and do like an almost entirely beaded thing, which is kind of cool because I've always wondered about doing a project like that. And so that one like is meant to be like that, so why not? And then she saw this and thought of me, and I said, oh yes, that is very me. This is by the Victoria Sampler. It's called Tea and Stitches. And it's a whole box of goodies. I may just do the big one, but it's got a girl stitching in a pink dress while drinking tea. I'm like, could it get any more me? Like, no, I don't think so. So it also has some heart hanger out here. So I still have yet to do that, but I have a couple patterns now that have it. So one of these days I'll get to it and figure out how to do that. So I thought that was cute. So thank you, Shelly. Those were fun little stitchy kindnesses. And now on to what I did this week. And I was uploading my other video and I realized I forgot to show my travel stitching. So I'm going to stick this in here and share my travel stitching. So my temperature tree, I only worked on a couple times, but I got it cut up yesterday. So that's what this looks like as the mock-up. Mine, everybody's will look different because each leaf goes with the day of the temperature. Each leaf represents a day of the year wherever you live, based on the temperature in your area. So this is what mine looked like last time, and here it is now. So this is 28 count light blue even weave from Artiste Zweigart at Hobby Lobby, and I have all these nice February petals, and it is warming up a little bit. This is a 75, I think, and so it is going to be, these are all like 60s and then into the 70s. So, but we did get a few cooler days, so in the 50s, so that's fun. And I had a little bit of extra time last night, and so I did one more length of Cocoa Bean, Classic Colorworks maybe, in the trunk there. So one more. I've been doing something I never remember to say, but when I say length, when I'm doing 1/1 on something solid like this, like a trunk or the sashing on my quilt, I've been cutting those usually, like fancy floss will often come in a yard length. A lot of brands will do it that way. And so when I found on solid stitching on 1/1 on 28 count, the thread will sometimes break because it's passing through the fabric so many more times, 4 times in fact, than if you were doing 2/2. So in those cases, I cut those strings in half and only do an 18-inch length for a solid chunk like this. So, and then the thread stays nicer for longer, and you don't have to worry about it breaking and being frustrating. And it's still, you still get plenty of stitches out of it because, you know, they're tiny stitches. So it still works out. Another one I've been working on is the Bent Creek Thankful Owls that I've been working on for one of the teachers at my kids' school. And I finished the little owls. So this is what that looked like last time. And here are these cute little guys. Aren't they adorable? This is on like a mystery linen. It's probably 28 or 30. I think it's 32. It feels more like a 32. I'm doing it 2/2 with my own conversion of fancy flosses, similar shades to what the pattern calls for, but just what I had on hand. And it's like a raw linen look. So now I will probably go back to Bloomtopia and work on part 3 of Bloomtopia, and then I'll come back to this and do the fork and the words, which shouldn't take that much longer to do. And then I will words today. I'm having a hard time. Then I'll move on to the other piece I'm working on for my son's teacher. So, speaking of Bloomtopia, part 2 came out this past weekend, so I can share my clip that I made of my part 2 when I finished it a couple weeks ago. So I'll insert that here, and then we'll go back to the actual stuff that I was sharing previously of my regular projects. So, hi, today is Friday, January 31st. And I'm here for a quick update with my Bloomtopia Sal that I finished part 2. I actually finished it on Wednesday, but didn't have a chance to film my update clip until now. So I'll probably wait and do the rest of it, work on part 3 in another week or so, to spend some time on my temperature pieces and my, what do you call it? My teacher gifts that I'm going to start. So here is part 2. And I'm not sure, it'll be better this way. Yeah, a little bit. So this is on 28 count Lugana, Ivory Lugana 1/1, and I'm using fancy floss. And this is part 2. And I think it turned out super cute. It's very tiny, very sweet. This darker pink, it has a lot of nice variegation in it. And the light blue also has some, you can see there's some darker patches of that. So that had some nice variation too. But I really like this section. It went really fast because there was a lot of bigger blocks with not a lot of color changes compared to this one, which was fun, but did have a lot more color changes. And I used white for the first time in these little bits in the flowers. So I think there's probably some patches later on that have more white in them. It's a nice representation. It's super small, super cute. Here's a bobbin and how big it is compared to that. So it's fun. I'm really enjoying this. So there's that. And part 1 I think is releasing today because they're doing a live stream here on Friday. So I'll be able to post my part 1 progress on Instagram tomorrow, and then I'll do the clip from part 1 in my next regular update video. And then this one will go out in 2 weeks after that. So I will see you in a while, I guess. But in the meantime, back to your actual Flosstube video. And I will keep stitching on this. I'll probably give it another week or so, and then I'll get back to part 3. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, High Hopes. I think I did this first. This is by Just Nan, and it comes with a little bird bath charm as well. So that goes right in the middle. But I thought this was adorable, and it's kind of for my cat, Cinnamon, who you haven't seen in a while. She's usually off napping during my videos lately. But she is 16 and a half. So I don't know how much longer she'll be here. So I want to kind of work on this while she's still around, and then maybe at some point I can add her dates in here, because we've had her since she was 2 months old. So she's definitely been a part of our family for a while. So this is what that looked like last time. And I got my little over 250 stitches for the Enchanted Stitching group. And this is where it is now. This is on some light green 32 count even wheat linen. And I think it's probably willow green, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. So I did the white over to this corner. And I used pins to make sure I got across without miscounting. And then I stitched the letters over one. So they had so many spots in the lettering that was over one. So even when they had like one line that would be maybe 2.5 stitches tall, I did it 5 stitches, tiny little stitches, because I wanted the whole thing to look purposeful, like it was meant to be small. So, and then in order to get the 250, I went ahead and backstitched inside these hearts. Yeah, it had some gray inside the hearts, because I was just short of 250 after doing all that white and the backstitching. So that's that. And I thought it turned out really cute. I'm excited to work on that more at some point. And it's a nice one that should be able to qualify for challenges and prompts and things, because it's got so many little things on it. I also worked on my chatelaine, which is Winter Wonderland band sampler. And this is the one I was working on while all of my friends were here stitching. But because my friends were here, I didn't get it quite finished quickly enough to move on to my last prompt, like challenge piece, because I was hoping to get that third challenge piece done before Friday, but I just got it barely started on Friday. The stitches for the prompt just barely got started on Thursday. So then I had to finish it on Friday. But that's okay. This is what the Winter Wonderland band sampler looked like last time. And here it is now. And this is on 32 count ice blue linen by Zweigart. And I filled in a whole bunch of snow in the tree, and then did the snow all the way down here, which is the farthest reaches of this patch of snow. And then started the birdhouse. And actually there were 2 stitches of gold sparkly that I must have missed last time. So I did those 2. And so that got me my 250 stitches. It wasn't quite enough. I think I had just barely, I think I had to get a whole nother string or something in order to, that I wasn't expecting. But I ended up getting this whole color done in the birdhouse, which was fun. I didn't want to start working on the 1/1 animals while people were here, because I didn't want to miscount. The symbols are really small. And I may even go back in and what's the word? Blow up, magnify, expand that portion of the chart a little bit more even than I already have, so that I can make sure to see all those stitches, because they do have backstitching lines crossing over them and stuff. So I want to make sure to get that right, and I didn't want to have to do that with company. So I went over and did the birdhouse started, which is 2/2 still. So that's where that is now, and it is lovely. Not quite as much as I had wanted to do this winter, which it doesn't really feel like winter anymore in Southern California, but it is still February, which is technically winter. But I think because it has little animals and things similar to High Hopes, I think it could come out for challenges at other points throughout the year. So I'm not going to limit it just to winter. I do hope to get a chunk of that one done. I have my like goals for 2020 that I would like to do this year, and I never really listed them all out on my on a video or anything, but every once in a while I'll probably mention that I have something like that as a goal. And I think for that one, see, I'm hoping to maybe finish High Hopes, that kitty one that I did, because that one's kind of small. Although there are a ton of color changes, so that one might be too much. But the Winter Wonderland goal that I hope to do is to finish the whole animal scene. So I would like to get, you know, all of this done down to here. And then this can be next year's goal to finish this up. So I got to start on the birdhouse, but then that bird, the squirrels, and the deer are all over one. So it'll be fun, but they will take a little bit longer. There's more stitches in there than it looks like. So I have a few things on here that are like finish the whole page, or the whole project, I mean. But most things are like finished sections or finished pages or whatever. So as I come across things, I'll try to mention those, because it's kind of too late in the year to worry about doing a goals video. And at the time, at the change of the year, I didn't really have the time or the wherewithal to do it then either. So kind of during my whip parade that I did, I made mental notes as I was going along. And I think during my editing process, when I was watching it back, I was like jotting down, okay, I want to do this. I could probably do that. I could probably do that. And I actually have 22 things listed down as potential goals. So my hope is that I can get 20 of them finished, because it is 2020. So that's my thing. So then I worked on Quick Stitch Iris, which will be going to a different aunt who loves irises. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I did get a little over 250 done on this one. This is what it looked like last time. And here it is now. So I managed to get all of this top chunk of parked threads worked in all throughout here. So it is still fun. I don't get as much done as I would like, you know, with only 250 stitches. But this particular week I had my next project, which was the Anne of Green Gables, that was earmarked for the weekend challenge in Full Coverage Fanatics. So that's the one I put at the end of the week to put extra stitches in. But in the future, if this comes out, it's nice to have a full coverage piece or a focus piece at the end of the week, and then when the challenge is over, I'll just keep stitching and do more. So this one will probably end up like that in future weeks, hopefully in future months. So I thought that was fun. Still enjoying this. This is 25 count linen 1/1 full crosses, and this is the edge of the piece. So that's fun. And I was asked to show my full coverage pieces in Pattern Keeper, to show how many stitches are left and things like that. And so I will try to remember to do that once in a while. I got a cover for my Kindle, which is really fun. This is kind of see-through because I got the rosy burgundy color, and I didn't want to cover it up because I got the pretty color on purpose, but I figured it would be nice to have a cover to keep it from getting like dusty and things like that. So here it is in Pattern Keeper with all of the stuff that I finished, which is just what I've showed you. And I am at 22.59% finished. So I have completed 5,998 stitches. So almost 6,000 stitches. If I had known I was that close, I might have done a couple more. But that's fun to see it in there. And I like how they have it like that, where the finished stitches are the color of the actual stitch. So then you can see as you're stitching what the surrounding parts look like. It's not just like yellow highlighter. It actually looks like the colors that are on your fabric, which is cool. So that's that one. So the next one I worked on was Anne of Green Gables. Quick Stitch, a crop of the Quick Stitch of Anne of Green Gables by Amy Stewart. And I'm just doing this little 105 by 105 section with just Anne and Gilbert. the actual pattern has like a whole bunch of tree and house, and I didn't want to stitch all of that. So I'm doing mine on, oh, maybe it'll look good on this. Yeah, what do you know? So I'm doing mine on 40 count silk gauze 1/1 half stitches, and this is what it looked like last time, and here it is now. I did a lot. I did almost 1,500 stitches. I did actually 1,492, which is Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So I did a little over, or more than 700 each day, and I did it part of Thursday and then all of Saturday, and I was gonna do even more on Sunday, and then it just started to be like, I'm feeling the siren call of my needlepoint piece, so I decided to work on that instead on Sunday, and I used it for this week's challenge as well. So I got a lot done. I finished this cream color in her sleeves. I put in a light blue whitey color in his sleeves. There was a lot of extra like oranges and tans and browns. I did a green, and every color that I did, I completed, which is really cool. So I've been color completing on this too. So it's looking really, really cool. And this is my goal, to be a finish this year. So I think that's definitely doable. I have it coming out again in March at some point, because it's the Full Coverage Fanatics Around the World for Canada. And this is a Canadian story. So it's coming out in March. And then I may do Monogamous Mania for the first 20 days in May with this piece to try to get it finished. So that's kind of my plan, and I think it's a cool one. You'll notice I added, this is bias tape that I sewed on the edge, because I was getting slivers from the fine hairs from the silk gauze. And at some point 2 or 3 times ago working on this, I got this sliver that was this really fine hair, and I'm like, what in the world, where is that from? And then eventually I was working on this again, and I felt a similar feeling. I'm like, it's the silk gauze. And I know normally people who work on silk gauze will sew it into fabric and like have a cutout of their fabric, and then the fabric can go into the Q-snap or the scroll frame or something. And there's a good demonstration of that on Mischievous Stitches, her channel. She did that a couple years ago and showed how she did that. But since I'm just doing this in hand, I didn't have any extra fabric around the edge, so I figured, well, I'll just sew on some bias tape and cover up the edge so that it protects my hands from getting slivers. So that's that. So really happy with the progress I got on that. But I wanted to keep going on my needlepoint, or my counted canvas piece. It's actually counted canvas. Which is kind of like a cross between needlepoint and counted cross stitch, and that was Rosetto by Needle Delights Originals. And last time I showed you, I just had it mounted on the scroll bars, or not the scroll bars, the stretcher bars, and drawn all the outlines to the squares. And before I got started on all my challenge pieces, after my video, I did this center one, because I couldn't wait. So I did this center one just for fun, just for kicks and giggles, like on Monday or Tuesday. And then Sunday evening, pulled it out again and started working on it for this week's challenge in Enchanted Stitching, because I found one that would make it, that it would work for. And so this is what it looks like now. And so it does sparkle and shimmer, which is really cool. So hopefully you can see that. And there's lots of fun stitches. This is like one ginormous Jessica stitch with Gloriana silk thread. There's this braid here and on these corners and in these lines. It's like a I forget what they called that. I don't know, but there's some cool braids, and these corners are water and ice stuff, and this center one is Vineyard Silk. There's some pearl cottons and Splendor Silk, and it's really fun. There's still a few colors and things that I haven't busted out yet, and every time I get a new one I have to I'm putting it on a bobbin just to make it easier for me because I like my bobbins. But so far that's fun. So I added more tacks. I had a couple people mention that I should have more tacks on here, and this is 18 count mono canvas, and I'm really enjoying that. These two blocks were almost 250 stitches, the equivalent of that, because each leg is a half a stitch, so you just calculate that out. So then I had to start this one in order to get to the 250 mark for the Enchanted Stitching group, and then I needed to go ahead and just finish that up all the way because I didn't want to leave it undone. There's another one just like it right here on the bottom, but I didn't want to stitch that much more over the challenge because I want to move on to the other pieces that I'm picking for this week. But that's a great start, I think. I'm really happy about that. So that's that one, and that's done. So the first prompt for this week's Enchanted Stitching set of prompts is finished. So now I only have 3 left, which is great. So what else am I doing? I'm going to work on Winter Clean, which I've been meaning to get out for a while now, because the last time I brought it out for a prompt, I didn't end up having that much time to stitch, so I didn't even get the full 250. So I'd like to get at least that much. I want to get her whole head done. That would be great. I may not get that much done, but it would be nice to get that a big chunk of her head done. So this is what this looks like right now. And so that's as far as she is. And I am working up here in her hair. So she's got a few more shades of hair, and then lots of beads and metallics and things for her crown and her earring and all of that. I'd like to get all of that done. So I don't know how many stitches that is. I don't know how close I'll be, if I want to just keep going and, you know, get it all done, or if this will take more than one prompt, or, you know, if I'm really close, I'll probably just keep going. Because even like the counted canvas piece, I ended up getting almost 400 stitches worth because I just wanted to finish that block. So I may do that if I'm close enough on her head. Close enough after 250, and I feel like I can just, a few more beads, a few more, you know, whatever, I might just keep going. So we'll see. So I'm excited to get back to her. Well, it's still technically winter. And then I'll work on Simpsons for my husband's piece. I do like to get to my family pieces once a month, and this one hasn't been seen yet. But there's 4 of them that haven't been seen yet this month, and there's only 2 weeks left, so I needed to get ideally 2 each week. So this week I'm going to do this one, and I'm also going to do Knitting Woman, which is for my mom, to get that one done. So this is where this is to start with. This is 40 count even weave on 1/1/2 stitches. And the prompt that this is going for is something that has legs, but they don't show in the pattern. And Marge, her legs are not showing. And technically, like all of my fancy ladies probably almost count, because you can't actually see their legs underneath their big fancy dresses. But I wanted to be a little bit more close to the idea where even their leg area wasn't showing. And hers, like, they're kind of in there, but not really. Like, this is Lisa's leg, this is Bart's leg. You can see Homer's legs. Her legs are there, but hers are hidden. And I really wanted to get this worked on this week. So I figured, well, I'm going to work on Marge. Hopefully maybe finish her hair, and her legs aren't showing. So 500 half stitches on this. So I don't know if that'll finish her hair, but again, I may just keep going if I'm really close. So, and get some more details if I finish her hair and need some more stitches. So we will see. And let's see, I want to work on Knitting Woman. Is that the last one? Yeah, so I feel like I'm ahead of the game because I already finished that needlepoint one. It does go faster than cross stitch a little bit because the same space when you're using longer stitches, it tends to it goes quicker. Fewer passes through the fabric to cover the same amount of space. Anyways, so this is Golden Kites Knitting Woman, and I'm working on this for my mom. And this one was something that you have to, when Kristoff says, "Ice is my life," when they're talking about the big ice castle in Frozen, they said, stitch on something that's related to your life. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I take care of my family and my cat. That's my life. So I figured I could work on this one for that, because this shows a mom. Okay, so this is where Knitting Woman is now. And I now have Pattern Keeper working with this one, and I have it all marked up with all my progress. So it's the way it is. It's ready to go. I did this last week, so it's ready to go. It matches. So because of Pattern Keeper, I may not have any parked threads anymore. I know I was doing where I was like finishing in one page and parking in the next, but now that it's so easy to find the symbols, I may just go back to all the other, like, just go back to finishing the color, finishing the string, you know, whatever. So we'll see what I do. Again, I would like to get at least 500 half stitches on this, and I will do this at the end, the last project of the week, so that if I get 500 and there's still a week left, I'll keep stitching on it past the 500 mark, just to see how much I can do. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a little bit more done on this, because I'm already a little ahead of the game with getting the first prompt already finished. So, oh, and I was going to show you, let's see. I am already 41.37% finished with this one. So getting close to the halfway mark, which is kind of cool. Which maybe that could be a goal for that one. I don't think I have that as a goal. I think historically it's easier to say, let's finish a page on, you know, yeah, I think I have page finish on Knitting Woman, but maybe I could change these now that we've got Pattern Keeper, I'm stitching cross country. I might change it instead to like a percentage, and each one would probably be different. But maybe I could say on this one, I'd like to get to 50% on Knitting Woman by the end of the year, but we'll see. If I get closer, if I pass that goal, I guess, I don't know that I need to make a new goal, but I might pass that goal before the end of the year, because I'm going to work on it every month. So we'll see. I think that's everything. I've been talking a lot. Got to rest my voice, and hopefully I can come back next week without being too sick, because I feel like I probably am getting a cold. My daughter had a very similar cold where she had a raspy voice right away, right at the beginning, and then it slowly turned into maybe like a runny nose like a week later. So it was kind of a weird thing, but I kind of feel like that's happening to me now. So the life of a mom. I gotta love on my babies, even though they give me the cold sometimes, but that's the way it is. And I hope you have a wonderful stitchy week as well, and looking forward to seeing what the week holds. So talk to you later. Happy stitching. Bye.